How's it, folks? With the recent Good Luck and Good Night update, grinding those legend levels has just gotten harder. Although, I will show a few ways of making it easier for all of you. I will first give a rundown of the setup and then I'll go over the farming spots. And as usual, there will be chapter marks if you wish to skip ahead. To start things off, you will want to be playing on hard difficulty for the bonus XP gain. And if you can play with a couple of friends, then that will also boost your XP. Just be warned that if you die when you are over legend level 50, you will lose 75% of your legend points, which can get frustrating at later levels. Next up, you want to maximize your combat XP multiplier from the gear you equip, and I would recommend focusing on either one-handed or two-handed gear pieces, and try to get at least 5% combat XP on each piece of gear, as that is the most important stat for grinding legend levels. The other stats like increased damage are helpful, but you want to try to get at least an extra 35% bonus XP from your gear. Another thing to be aware of is the combo multiplier. If you perform 5 light attacks at an enemy, you will earn less XP for each consecutive attack. However, if you mix up some parkour attacks like kicking, it will instead increase your combat XP earned, and you'll earn more legend points by mixing up your attacks. I have found it easiest to keep the combo up with one-handed slashing weapons, with their very fast attack animations allowing for kicks to be mixed in. Now let's talk about boosters. You will want the muscle, toughness, and regeneration boosters for their increased damage, the knockback resistance when being swarmed by volatiles, and the healing over time that will keep you alive. The ingredients will be most easily acquired from the Baba, so visit her every now and then to stay stocked up on your boosters. If you find the ingredients are scarce, maybe try to make it a habit to visit the Baba when you start each play session. For your equipment slot, I would recommend only having the UV light and UV bars equipped. That will give you some breathing room if you're getting swarmed or need to replenish your boosters after they run out. Now for weapons, if you have the two-handed rose axe, then use that, as it can get well into the 900 plus damage range, and paired with all the other multipliers will make you decimate your way through the horde of zombies. Alternatively, I would recommend a one-handed slashing weapon like the Axe of Orion, as they were recently buffed in this patch and can attack very quickly, which if you are relying on critical hits for your mods to activate may end up saving your bacon. Speaking of mods, I have two loadouts I would recommend. The first combo I have named the Stun Lock, as when it triggers, it basically stuns large groups and single targets in a large area around you, allowing you to either get a lot of hits off in quick succession or to break off to recover stamina or even get some kicks in to reset the combo multiplier. This Stun Lock combo uses the Frost mod for freezing enemies and the Spark mod to shock and stagger a group of enemies around you. And then I also add the Empowerment mod for the increased damage. The other combo I will run with I use solely when in volatile Hives, as I want the Hive to keep screaming and bring the zombies to me, so I don't want to kill it too early. So I use a weapon with the mods Frost, Venom and Empowerment to stagger individuals for a fairly lengthy amount of time, using a quick one-handed slashing weapon that can crit, decapitate and instantly kill volatiles, rather than go through their now rather tanky health pool. Now with all of the setup finally out of the way, let us go over some of the farming spots, and I will provide pros and cons for each of the locations. After a bit of testing, it also doesn't seem to matter whether you have the community event on or off, as the number and strength of the volatiles didn't seem to change, so you may as well have it on and help work towards the community event, which at the rate we are all going will probably be done by the end of this weekend. So the first location involves getting a volatile hive to spawn, and remember to inhale each of your boosters before entering, and if you are lucky, you'll get one to spawn in a similar setup to this, as it will turn into the perfect opportunity to farm uncommon trophies to upgrade your blueprints. Because it isn't open to the outside and there are only spawn points inside, if you don't start a chase before you get inside, only virals will show up, and they are still easy to manage, and before long, you will be swimming in loot bags. However, you won't be very efficient if your only goal is to earn legend points without the chase multiplier. If that's the case, then all you need to do is run to the ladder to the roof, where you'll fairly easily run into volatiles and get a chase initiated. Then re-enter the building. Now that a chase has started, volatiles will randomly start spawning alongside virals until you reach the max chase level, when volatiles will be the only one to spawn. And because you don't want the Hive to die, I would recommend using the Frost Venom weapon to avoid any sparks to damage the Hive. If you feel like you are getting overwhelmed, then don't forget to use your UV flashlight or the UV bars. If the volatile stops spawning, you will need to climb up top, where there will probably be a crowd waiting for you. Deal with them, then go back down and they will continue to spawn again. Repeat this process until either the morning or you reach the cap of 20,000 legend points and want to stop. Although this is the one location I would actually recommend you keep going, as it does involve a bit of luck to get it, even if you aren't min-maxing the legend point gains. The pros for this location is that it can double as a safe trophy farm. It is probably the easiest legend XP farm due to all the choke points that you can take advantage of, and it's relatively difficult to get swarmed in here, especially with the regen booster and UV torch. The cons are that it relies on luck to get to spawn in this location, and if you accidentally kill the Hive too early, it will be more difficult to keep the chase meter up compared to other locations. Overall, I would rank this the best method at the moment if you can get it to spawn, but if you want more consistency, then move on to the next location, which used to be my personal favorite, at least for the early legend levels. This one is the metro station tunnel outside the bazaar in Old Villador. For this location and the others, I would recommend the stun lock weapon combo. To start the chase, just do a lap of the tunnel entrance, as there almost always are roaming volatiles in the area, and when you want them to respawn, just do another lap and they'll come crawling out underneath the vehicles. Don't forget to use your boosters, but this one comes with a permanent UV light that can allow you to replenish your booster or stamina relatively easily. You can even get volatiles trapped in the tunnel by dodging their leaps, making them easy prey. Another great feature for this location is the tunnel entrance itself protecting you, as if you are playing by yourself, then you only need to worry about the attacks coming from the front, and using the UV flashlight can help interrupt the volatile jumping attack. And if you feel like you are getting overwhelmed, then you can just back up a bit. So the pros for this location are the UV lit entrance protecting 3 sides and allowing you to recover in an easy and safe manner. It's easy to start and keep the chase going by doing laps around the metro entrance. It's very consistent and should reliably work. You should have access to it from pretty much the beginning of the game, so new game plus players won't need to go through many hours of the story before they can start farming. The only con I can think of for this one is because of how easy and consistent it is, that it will start to become repetitive and boring. So you might want to change the location every now and then so it doesn't become too tedious. Overall, the Bazaar Metro Tunnel is probably the easiest and most consistent way to farm legend points in the current build of the game. If you want to change it up a bit, then I would recommend doing some farming outside the PK ship, as there are 2 spots right by the entrance that volatiles crawl out of, and if you are using a slashing weapon, you could potentially one-shot volatiles as they emerge. Either that or stomp on their heads to change up the combat multiplier. Just be warned though, as compared to the previous 2 spots, this is more open and you may find yourself spending a lot of time on your back on the ground with volatiles staring lovingly into your eyes, before you need to choose to kick them off, shove a UV light into their mouth, or embrace them. At one point while doing this, I was getting pounced by volatiles as soon as I stood up, and it took until I could finally flash them all with my UV light before I could get some breathing room. This location I would rate as a high risk, high reward area, as you can instantly kill volatiles, which still feels great, especially now that they have been buffed. However, you run the risk of getting swarmed and potentially losing thousands of legend points if you die. One trick I noticed while spending a lot of time on my back is that if you are using the maxed out regen booster, I would recommend kicking them off instead of using the UV light, as by the time you stand back up, you will have regenerated back to full health. Meanwhile, using the UV bar sometimes immediately gets the volatile off of you, only to be knocked down straight away again by another volatile. So the pros for this location is that there are UV lights near the entrance allowing you to recover if you get overwhelmed. There are easy access places where volatiles crawl out of that could lead to you insta-killing them. Easy to get and keep a chase going. The cons are, because it is more open, you can get swarmed and possibly overrun. The openness makes it easy to get surrounded, making the UV flashlight less useful for interrupting the leap attacks, and you may find yourself spending a lot of time on the ground. Overall, this is a pretty high risk, high reward location. The next location is fairly similar and it is just outside the Fish Eye Canteen. There are a lot of UV zones near the base of the place, but it is also even more open than the PK ship. So, this location will be easier when you are in a co-op party. This location is also very easy to start and keep a chase going, as there are a lot of cars and trucks nearby that they like to crawl out of. However, there aren't many places you can turn into choke points here, which could lead to you getting overrun. I would probably rank this location at the bottom of the list of my preferred locations for Legend XP farming. As far as I can see, the only pros for this location are the UV lamps and it's easy to start and keep the chase going, while the cons for it are that it lacks choke points and is easy to get overrun, which you really don't want happening when in the later Legend levels, as you stand to lose a lot of points. The final location is probably my favorite, as it forces me to integrate parkour moves and kicks into my combos. It's the GRE Anomaly near the Lower Dam and St. Paul Island. There are two areas covered in rubbish bags that the volatiles will spawn from, and similar to the PK ship, while they are crawling, it is possible to stomp on them or potentially one-shot them with a slashing weapon. However, there aren't any UV lamps here, so you will need to rely more on your flashlight and the UV bars to create safe zones to replenish your boosters or heal. But this place does have spark traps, and it's quite fun to try and get a volatile to leap into the sparks while dodging them and instant killing them. If you have killed all the zombies in the one spot, you will need to run over to the other spot to get more to spawn, but you can keep doing this as much as you want. With the rope and nearby walls, this location is the best to integrate kick-in and mix up your combos to add some variety, and I would recommend coming here if the other locations start to become tedious. So the pros for this location are the same for the PK ship, except swap UV lights for spark traps with the added bonus of the increased opportunity of mixing in parkour attacks. While the cons are you needing to make your own safe zone with UV bars, and it's in a higher level area that will require you to progress through a fair bit of the story before you have access to it. One extra bonus for PC players is that there is a mod on the Nexus that will allow you to significantly increase the XP gain from all sources if you are getting tired of the grind. I will have the link in the description. With that said, I would appreciate any feedback from you all, and a like or subscribe will let me know you wish to see me make more of such content. Otherwise, I hope you all have a fantastic day, take care, and cheers for now.